Imagine Europe tens of thousands of years ago. Icy winds sweeping across endless forests, giant beasts roaming freely, and in the middle of this wild world stood a powerful human species, the Neanderthals. They weren't primitive cavemen like movies love to show. They were real humans with families, rituals, and daily struggles for survival. Their bodies were built like natural armor, broad shoulders, thick muscles, strong hands, and faces shaped by cold climates and hard living. Neanderthals were masters of their environment. They tracked animals silently, read the landscape like a map, and moved through frozen valleys with confidence. They controlled fire, crafted stone tools with impressive accuracy, and adapted to harsh winters that would break most modern humans in a day. What makes them even more fascinating is that they weren't mindless brutes at all. Evidence shows they cared for their wounded, protected their young, and even buried their dead. Small signs of emotion and culture echoing across time. They were survivors, warriors of the Ice Age, and a major branch of the human story, long before another species, ours, entered the scene. While the Ice Age shaped their bodies, life itself shaped their minds. Neanderthals weren't wandering aimlessly. They had a system, an early blueprint for survival. Their craftsmanship was impressive. Razor-sharp stone blades, perfectly shaped spear points, and tools designed for cutting, scraping, carving, and building. Each piece showed precision, not luck. They lived in tight-knit groups where cooperation was essential. Every hunt was a coordinated mission, every shelter a shared effort. In those frozen landscapes, community wasn't optional. It was survival. They communicated, planned, and taught skills across generations. And here's the part many people don't expect. Their brains were slightly larger than ours, not because they were more intelligent, but because they needed more processing power for vision, movement, and handling a brutal environment. Still, this means they weren't simple. They understood fire, seasons, migration patterns, and danger long before our species arrived. Recent discoveries even revealed something almost artistic, traces of pigments and decorated objects, signs that Neanderthals used colors, symbols, maybe even early forms of personal expression. They weren't just surviving, they were beginning to think beyond survival. In their own way, the Neanderthals were innovators of the Ice Age, physically strong, socially connected, and mentally capable. But everything was about to change when a new kind of human stepped into their world. Then came the moment that changed everything, the arrival of Homo sapiens, our species. For thousands of years, the two humans lived on the same continents, sometimes only a valley apart. Their first encounters weren't scenes of constant war, but a mix of curiosity, tension, and competition. Homo sapiens looked different, taller, slimmer, with lighter builds and more advanced tools. They carried long-range weapons, complex strategies, and a strange ability to adapt fast. Neanderthals, on the other hand, were stronger, tougher, and deeply connected to their familiar environment. The contact between the two species wasn't simple. Sometimes they cooperated, sometimes they avoided each other, and sometimes they fought. But the most surprising part, they mixed. DNA today proves that many humans, especially in Europe and Asia, carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal genes. That means the two species didn't just meet, they shared families, shelter, and moments that shaped the future of humanity. Still, competition was inevitable. As Homo sapiens spread rapidly, they claimed hunting grounds, controlled resources, and brought new ideas and tools that slowly shifted the balance. Neanderthals, with their slower adaptation, found themselves surrounded by a species that learned faster, moved faster, and changed faster. The Ice Age world was big, but not big enough for two dominant humans with the same needs. The meeting of these two species wasn't the start of extinction. It was the beginning of a new chapter where only one could keep pace with a world in motion. Neanderthals didn't vanish because they were less intelligent. They vanished because the world changed faster than they could. As the climate shifted, forests shrank, animals migrated, and the cold tightened its grip, the environment transformed at a speed they weren't built for. Neanderthals simply couldn't shift their lifestyle fast enough. They lived by rules that had worked for thousands of years, rules that suddenly stopped working. Their extinction wasn't a failure. It was a message written across history. The mind alone doesn't guarantee survival. Flexibility does. And this lesson echoes today. Individuals, companies, even nations, those who refuse to evolve collapse, no matter how powerful they once were. A reminder that in a world that moves at incredible speed, the real key to survival is simple: adapt or disappear.